Good afternoon and welcome to Blacktown International Sportspark in Sydney's West. It's sunny, steamy conditions for this Friday afternoon. It is the final practice match for these two sides ahead of the 2014 home and away season. Of course, the Greater Western Sydney Giants hosting the Adelaide Crows, and it's brought to you live on GWS, giants.com.au, as well as afc.com.au. The Giants preparing for their third season in the AFL, and of course the Crows, disappointing last year, finished 11th, looking to get back in the 8 this year, and what a start to the season they've made. They're 2 from 2 in their pre-season matches so far. So a couple of school kids in the local area have had an early minute for this Friday afternoon, and they'll be cheering on both these sides here. The final practice match, all in readiness, ready to get underway. No subs this afternoon for this one. We've got 8 on the bench for the Giants and 5 on the bench for the Crows. So the last opportunity for these players to put in a good impression for the coach ahead of the 2014 season proper. Kelly Underwood to take you through the opening stages here will be joined by some of the Giants' injured players throughout this broadcast. And this final practice match underway. Jacobs jumps high, but it's Phillips, who is at late inclusion. Mumford, late withdrawal, been rested this afternoon. Hampton clears it off half-back here for the Giants. Sends it up to the broadcast wing. Smith for the Crows. And an early turnover. This is Whitfield. Didn't play in the last NAB 2, but was super impressive in NAB 1. In that loss to the Swans. Ward, Scully, Phillips to Shaw. He's the big name recruit in the summer, but it's been picked off here by Thompson. Scott Thompson for the Adelaide Crows drives it inside 50, and it is all the Giants. Frost, key position backman, flicks it wide. Taking the mark out there is Tomlinson. They bring it around the outer side, and as I mentioned, Kelly Underwood alongside a couple of the Giants players that are sitting this one out this afternoon. One of them is a two-time premiership star with Geelong, Josh Hunt. Josh, great to have you along.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, it's only 7 or 8 days until our first game, so it's yeah. But looking forward to a good show by the boys out here today against what's a pretty good opposition today.
So Sean McKernan's going to line it up for the first shot of the afternoon. Well out. Pen, Josh.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the torrential downpour.
Yeah, well, it's been forecast, so we might not have to wait too long at all.
I'll hope not.
Throw him back underway. McKernan playing in that second ruck position in front of Freeze being picked out, and it's going the way of the Adelaide Crows. Scott Thompson. In fact, it is going to Paddy Dangerfield. So Crows doing the early attacking. Only gone a few minutes here in this practice match, and it's Dangerfield to have a shot from the train line end here at Blacktown International Sportspark, or the northern end. Of course, the Swans played NAB 2 against the West Coast Eagles here last week at this ground. Eagles getting the win in the wet. So Patrick Dangerfield lines it up for the first score of the afternoon, and he doesn't make any mistake with that one. The Crows have got the first on the board. 1 straight 6 to the Giants yet to score. We've gone a couple of minutes here.
Looks like Dylan Shield might have the match up with Dangerfield there, which would be a cracking one throughout the day as well. I think it's 2 young bulls going head to head.
Turns 21 on Sunday, Dylan Shield, I'm told. Josh, I don't know if you know this as part of being a teammate of his, but he shares a 21st birthday with Adam Treloar.
Okay, actually I've heard that we've got about 17 21st this year. So
it's the year of the 21st.
It's going to be
it's going to take you back.
I hope not.
You're going to get a few invites to 21st birthday parties?
Oh, hopefully.
Might get Adam Treloar in a little later, the broadcast sitting this one out as well. So here is Shield on cue, sends it inside 50, playing out in front, one of the elder statesman of the game. Rutten dispossessed. Good tackle there, and it's been rewarded to young Tomlinson for the Giants.
It's been a big focus, Kel, throughout the year, the forward pressure and the forward tackles, and it's great to see that, you know,
reward for effort. He does no, he's just missed it. Hooks it at the very last minute. And an early opportunity goes begging. Crows one straight, the Giants behind, and they've mucked it up here, the Crows, on the kick here. And this is Whitfield, who is outstanding in NAB 1. And he seizes his opportunity, and the Giants strike through with their first. Lockie Whitfield, Josh, just terrific in NAB 1.
He's one of those guys. It's just a silky smooth. He makes running look easy, and you know, obviously that was off his right leg, but he's one of those guys that you just look and he just makes anything on a footy field look easy. He's, you know, left or right side. He's very confident on both sides of his body, and you know, it's a great finish there under pressure. And he's another guy that I think, you know, everyone's looking forward to seeing how he goes throughout the year. He's got a massive upside, and he's just one of those guys, like I said, that just makes things look a whole lot easier than what they should.
Bit of a momentous day for your club, given that there is the 3 top draft picks running around out there. Boyd, Patton and Whitfield for the very first time, and throw in Scully. That's 4 number 1 picks.
It's always nice.
It is. And here's Scully out of the centre. It's a bouncing ball inside 50. Patton goes out to meet it. Rutten gets there first, happy to paddle it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Yeah, so it's nice to obviously have those first round picks, but that doesn't automatically make them great players or anything like that. So there's, you know, obviously you're seeing the fruits of, you know, 2 or 3 years of hard pre-seasons, and you know, just have a look at them at the moment. They're getting around pretty well.
In front, Cameron. He went the third man up, gets it off to Ward, sharing it around Palmer. It's a centering kick, a high ball. Back there is Addison, off hands. Patton, Addison, yes! 2 goals within a minute for the Giants.
Here's another one, Kelly, you spoke about Heath Shaw being a great pickup over the off-season. Dylan Addison, yeah, he can't be underestimated. He's come into this forward line and just fitted in seamlessly, and he just adds that, you know, that real experience that they were looking for down there. Obviously, you've got, you know, Jez and John Patton, Tom Boyd, a lot of these forwards who have been in the system for a few years, but Dylan's had, you know, I think it's 7 or 8, maybe even 9 years of AFL footy, so he's got a lot of experience under his belt, and I think he's really helped organise and coordinate a lot of things down there, and he's getting on the end of his hard work as well. And I think, you know, against Sydney, bobbed up, kicked a couple of goals, and here today he's been in the thick of it as well. So he's one of the guys that they'll look to have a really big year and a big impact on the whole playing group.
Started as a halfback flanker for the Bulldogs, so it's been quite a turnaround, hasn't it?
Yeah, you got to let the forwards learn how to defend first, so they appreciate it when they get it put on their chest laces out.
So Giants lead it by 7. As Phillips gets a hand on it, looking to get it down to Scully. Head over the ball there for the Crows was Grigg. Well tackled by Green. Scully fighting hard again. So too Grigg. Jacobs almost made that All-Australian team going back a few years ago. Canelio tries the clearing kick, but it ricochets, and Patton meets the ball hard. Tries to dodge around an opponent. Back to Green. Outside of the boot. Inside 50 quickly. Here's Addison, the last goal kicker, but the Crows looking to clear and just get it out of that danger zone, and it's a foot race now. This is Tom Lynch for the Adelaide Crows. Playing in front was Frost. Moves one way, then the other, and takes him on, and that's an encouraging piece of play. A couple of bounces. Can he hit up a target inside 50, deep into the pocket, and unable to take the mark there for the Giants.
He's a great athlete, Sam Frost. You know, Tom Lynch is no slouch. He's quick. He's a powerful bloke, and just Frosty, just to show him a clean set of shoes, and then take a couple of bounces too was nice to see.
Phillips from behind, and the ball beats Scully over the boundary line, so another throw in. And I guess players, Josh, like Sam Frost and a few other Giants players out there today playing for a spot in that round 1 team.
Yeah, exactly. You know, obviously, you know, with Stephen Gillam having a sort of limited preparation, it's sort of allowed Frosty to come in and play, you know, a lot of game time, and he's really impressed with what he's done so far in the NAB Challenge and the practice rounds.
Josh Kelly getting involved, steals the ball, and then a second possession. First the handball, then the kick. Oh, what about that for class from the youngster? And it hits the chest of the captain. And Ward will go back and have a set shot from directly in front. Josh Kelly not only stealing that ball, creating the turnover, but then the goal assist maybe as well.
Yeah, he's a beautifully balanced player, Josh Kelly. And he's one of those guys that he's another one that just. But you know, he showed last week that he can find the footy and he doesn't get overawed or doesn't look out of place at all on an AFL scene. So he's another exciting prospect, but his running ability is second to none. He's a freak, and you know, I just love watching the guys like that. Him, Lockie Whitfield, Will Hoskin-Elliott, all these guys that can just run. And obviously Skulls is you know, one of the most elite in the league. So there's a few out there that can definitely put a few Ks in the leagues.
So the Crows with the first through Dangerfield. The Giants hit back with 3 in a row. They take a handy lead here, nearly the 10-minute mark of the opening term. Free's been picked out and it'll go the Giants' way rather. And here he is, Boyd, number 1 draft pick. He slips over for his very first possession in AFL footy. And from centre half back, the Adelaide Crows to Dangerfield on the outer side. Being corralled by Shaw, and he takes Shaw on. He's tripped, he's legged. Is it a free kick? Play on says no, it'll come back. And it will be a free to Patrick Dangerfield.
Big body, just couldn't get enough grip on the cricket pitch in there, and he worked back hard, which was good.
Started on the bench, so great to see him out there, Tom Boyd. Umpire's just mucking around with it here. And it'll come back to Dangerfield. See Heath Shaw, the man standing the mark. Two-time All-Australian player. The captains voted last week, and he was up there for a favourite for the Brownlow for 2014. Podsiadly was the target, had to stand his ground, and again it's all the Giants. Through Cornelio, a burst of pace, gets it off to Whitfield, gives it back to Cornelio. He's looking for some help, and the Crows with numbers. Thompson to Lynch. He kicked 10 against the Giants when he played them in the regular season last year. As he got his first for the afternoon, he hooks it. And a miss for the Crows.
Just a little bit unlucky. Just one bloke just with the skin of his teeth had on the Steve's his jumper, but other than that we're away, and there was a lot of space up there for Jez and the forwards to work into.
So Heath Shaw brings it back into play. They go the outer side, outnumbered there, and Kelly can't do anything to keep that ball in play. We'll have a throw in. So you've been working closely with Heath Shaw down in that back line?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We're sort of on the same wavelength, which is good. So we sort of both sort of mesh well together, and we just the back line looking good as a unit at the moment. There's a few things we still need to work on, but it's you know, obviously it's a work in progress. But it's just great to have him down there as well with a, you know, sort of cool, calm head under pressure.
Brodie Martin looking to get his way through a couple of Giants players. Eventually it comes back to Rutten, full back for the Adelaide Crows. He goes wider still. And they're sharing it around to Scott Thompson. Can he find a target? No loose, easy ball here for the Crows, early stages of this practice match. Now a driving kick inside 50. Crows with the numbers, well played by the Giants, and it's fisted over the boundary line.
Yeah, it's obviously you just mentioned then the pressure. There's no easy targets for the Crows when they're coming out of their back line, and it's great to see the pressure that the boys are putting on so early in the game.
McKern. This is the tough thing about commentary, Josh Hunt. You know,
cheering, and I'll be barracking.
Lynch, quick little handball over to right. It's high up and under. Podsiadly and then Betts, the two recruits. Do they combine for a goal? No, they don't. And it's brought back into play very quickly. Cornelio with the mark.
50.
And it was a 50. Didn't see exactly what that was for. I don't think it was Dangerfield just cribbing over the mark at all. Cornelio, long lead, and he honours it from Patton, who keeps it low, and bouncing ball to Scully. It'll sit really nicely for him here, and Tom rushed that in the end. Probably had a little bit more time, although it was a tough angle, and it's through for a behind. So the Giants 3-2-20, the Crows 1-2-8. This is Yench for Adelaide, dashing down the outer side. Podziadley marks uncontested. Has a look, assesses the option and then goes to Lynch, but playing in front was Haynes. Takes a lovely contested mark. Back to the last line of defence. Frost. And then making Kennedy really work for it. Patton is covering some miles. He's been up one end and then the other. It's been picked off here by the Crows. Douglas gives it off to the run of Grigg, off a couple of steps. And he lines it up, but hooks it to the left-hand side, through for another behind for the Crows. And it's Shaw that'll bring it back into play. This has been an encouraging start, Josh, from the Giants.
Yeah, obviously it is. The pressure's been great around the footy, and obviously to get a few goals on the board sort of puts a bit of pressure on the scoreboard pressure as well. It's just a matter now of being able to sustain this throughout the game, which has sort of been the main theme over the pre-season.
Hits up Bug. On the left, he just puts it up and under, and that's a nice mark taken by the big man. But he's given it away though. Umpire said no, it's a free. And it goes to his opponent, Sam Jacobs. 2-on-2 out here. Sloan is the acting captain today for the Crows. And a free kick picked out to Palmer. Gives it off to Hampton, who's got speed to... That's a wonderful goal from Josh Kelly. Picked 2 in last year's draft, and the Giants have got their 4th on the board. And they have skipped away to an early lead. Josh Kelly, just 19 years of age, just oozes class already. Yeah,
he does. You speak to him as well, and he doesn't seem like a 19-year-old kid. He's very matured, well above his years, and you can just see it. He just wants to be the best he can be, and he's one of those guys that obviously he's sort of slight of frame at the moment, but he's going to mature into a really good size AFL footy player, and he's one that's destined for big things without putting too much pressure on him early. But he's one guy that really excites me for the future.
So the Giants have picked up from where they left off against the Saints. They're out to a handy lead here against the Adelaide Crows. Bug puts it out in front of Green, makes his teammate work for it. Handball over the top of his head. He heard the voice from Whitfield. Picks it up. Geez, quick Lockie Whitfield. And he finds Palmer. It's been a speedy start to this game for the Giants. Palmer can't find a target though, and then Otten's spinning out of trouble. Right through the centre corridor. It'll sit here for Shaw in front of Portpleasure, weaving one way then the other. Gives it to Kennedy. Tucks it under his arm. He's got time to point, bark out some instructions, but he can't find Tomlinson, so we'll have a throw in on the outer side. Kelly Underwood alongside Josh Hunt. It's the final practice match here between the Crows and the Giants, brought live on gwsgiants.com.au and afc.com.au here at Blacktown International Sportspark. Whitfield again involved in the action, dispossessed. Dangerfield wanted to pick it up and run with it quickly, but it'll come back, I think, holding the ball against Whitfield. Luke Brown for the Crows. 21 games for Adelaide last year, looking to cement his spot in the side. And once again, it's the Giants with numbers around the ball. Goes back in the same direction, and McKay sees it over.
Yeah, like you said, Kelly, it's been pretty up and back at the moment. I can't remember seeing an actual ball up around the ground at the moment. So it's, at some point I'm thinking one of the teams or both teams might take a bit of the sting out of it and just possess the ball a little bit if they can.
Jacobs palming it down to Thompson. And Scott Thompson turns 31 next week. One of the veterans of the game. Josh, I won't talk too much about age while you're sitting alongside of me. Back to Lynch.
It's experience.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Nice mark by Portpleasure in front. Back inboard to Grigg. Thompson. And Yench. Just on the back foot at the moment. You sense the Crows are dash, the big man. Gives it back to Jench. And short. Barely goes the required distance to Lynch. Just chipping it around Adelaide, looking for the best avenue forward. McKay. Piercing ball, and that's a lovely kick. It lands on the chest of Brodie Martin, who'll go back and have a set shot from a pretty difficult, acute angle.
Yeah, it was obviously the slow build-up was good just to slow up the Adelaide Footy Club at the moment, but obviously then just a guy that was sort of 70 metres out to be able to find a target like that inside 50 is a little bit disappointing. Although being a tough angle, it's still a mark inside 50, which is something that Chad won't be too happy about.
So Brodie Martin, good to see him back in this team. He's had his issues with a knee reconstruction in the last few years, and he makes the most of that, and he puts through the second goal for the Adelaide Crows here at Blacktown this afternoon. So was that a deliberate act, do you think, by the Adelaide Crows? Obviously, they didn't have the game on their terms, and they've gone out there and the message has gone out just to slow things down a little bit? Yeah,
as we saw, with the pressure around the ball being really good, it sort of forced the Adelaide guys to try and kick it long and get some sort of yardage. But when they did that, the guys like Heeshaw and Nick Haynes and all those guys down back were setting up really good and then just putting it back in. So, we were able to play the game in our half a bit, and they just slowed up a little bit then just to try and find those frees in between the 60-metre range, and it sort of slows the game up a little bit, and you let the game unfold, and you can always sort of find a spare one, hopefully sometimes like that.
Giants by 11 points. McKernan is into the ruck. He goes head-to-head with Phillips. He wins his own football. He has a bit of a dash, and then he goes long. That is very long, and just offline. Sean McKernan. This is Curtly Hampton. Needs to be a pinpoint pass, and it was to Palmer. Spins, plays on quickly, looking to move the ball. Addison will win a free kick against Jenkins. Peeling off with Shaw, accepts the handball, and then he has a couple of bounces streaming through the centre of the ground, almost gliding, but that was a disappointing kick. Lets himself down straight to Rutten, and the Crows are away on the transition. Out wide, Lynch. High handball to Jenkins. And then to half forward, and it's turnover city out there at the moment. Just going from half forward to half back. Shield looking to set something up for the Giants.
This is what I expect the Giants to do, the same thing as what the Crows did, just to sort of take a bit of speed off the game and try and find those free targets.
Lynch bravely backing back in front of Patton, who was steaming out, and ball over the boundary line, so Rutten will take it. Crows moving it, a couple of short kicks going along the line. This is Otten looking to bring it back inboard. Grigg. Onto the left. It's a long ball. Pack forms in front. Unable to take the mark down there was Phillips. And we'll see it over the boundary line for another throw-in. So the Giants 26 plays the Crows 16. We've gone nearly 23 minutes of this opening quarter. Crows looking to make it a 3 from 3 for their pre-season.
Just Cameron's causing a bit of headaches down there at the moment too. He's just sort of slotted himself behind the ball just to steady the ship late in the quarter, and he's been involved in a few good passes of play at the moment.
Well, I guess it's the first time we've seen Cameron and Patton and Boyd all in the same team, and the big question heading into this season, Josh, is do they all fit inside 50?
Well, size-wise, they might just fit. They're all pretty big sort of guys, especially with Boydie down there now, but I think he can work it, especially with the way that Jez moves around as sort of fluently as he does. It sort of allows you to play two real big forwards, and like Jez is showing here, you could chuck him up on the wing and he could play up there as well and wreak havoc like that. So it's I definitely think they can, but whether the coaches decide to do that or not, it's another story as the Crows kick another goal.
They do through Richard Douglas. He kicked 20 goals last year, so good return. Second in the best and fairest. So Crows have got 3 on the scoreboard. Their goal kickers Dangerfield Brodie Martin and now Douglas from right on 50. And the Giants with 4 through Whitfield, Addison, Ward and Kelly. And Giants led it by 4 points. High scoring encounter. I think we've seen more goals here this afternoon than we did last week when the Swans played the Eagles in the wet.
Yeah, I think the conditions are a little bit more conducive to good footy, but yeah, obviously it's good to get 4 goals on the board in the first quarter, and it's now's the time where we really just want to shut down and not allow any sort of red. How we handle that now.
Quarter time. Dangerfield hits up Martin. Oh, that was a 50-50 ball. Keeping his eyes on it, though, was right for the Adelaide Crows. And missing the shot at goal. So a little let off there for the home side, the Giants, as we close in on quarter time. Floating in from behind Martin and Wright. Lucky not to get a push in the back. It'll be a throw in. Phillips in front. Green puts his teammate under pressure there in Whitfield, but it's well picked up by Haynes, and they're away here, the Giants. Cornelio, and look at the burst of pace here from Hampton. 1 bounce, 2 bounces. His eyes light up from 50, and he cannot find the 2 big sticks. Instead, he's going to put it out of bounds on the full after hitting the point post. But that was exciting.
It is. That's what Curley can do. He's got blistering pace. He's really balanced as well. He's tough to tackle because he's really strong through his sort of core and his lower limbs. So he's one that we look to break the lines like that. And it's I think he's just going to be quick for his body then. But if he can just steady up and hit those, he definitely get the crowd on their feet.
Here's Boyd playing in the ruck, fighting hard. First possession slipped over on the cricket pitch in the centre of the ground.
Can't remember the time I've seen an 18-year-old person look that big.
That was my next question to you, Josh. Seriously, 200 centimetres, 104 kilograms, and he's 18 years of age.
Yeah, he said he was part of the 300 club when he was about 15. He's sort of, had his height and weight together, and he's been a big boy for a long time, so he says. He moves unbelievably well. He's so agile. He runs a very good 3K time trial, and as a key forward, likes it a whole lot, but he's definitely one that moves so much better than what you'd think.
Into Patton, standing, and well done. Reads it really well and just out-muscles the very big Ben Rutten. So a glimpse into the future then. A nice passage of play from Boyd, and then finishing it is Patton.
Yeah, he's obviously, the boys love him. Obviously missing so much footy through his knee reco, and then obviously coming back in and playing his first game a couple of weeks ago. And he's one of the, not just the crowd favourites, but one of the sort of teammates' favourite players as well. He's worked extremely hard, and he's getting the fruits of his hard work now. He's clunked a few really good. Big key defenders for Adelaide and plucked it in amongst both of them. So it's just nice to have a big target who you can back in when you're in trouble, just to kick it in there and know that if he's not going to mark it, he's not going to get out marked. So the big fella's blowing a little bit at the moment. Like you said earlier, he's been covering a lot of territory and working truck rutting over a little bit, but I'm sure that he'll come to the bench, and then Boyd will go down there and hopefully cause a bit of havoc.
How do they differ as players, Patton and Boyd?
I haven't seen much of Boydie play, and obviously Pato for that matter. So I think that obviously Boydie he's been terrorising us defenders in the sort of back speed forward sort of stuff. He's just a big strong kid, just holds you out of the way, and he's got a great set of hands and really good in front of goal. And as far as Pato goes, we've seen what he can do already today. So I dare say there's a lot of similarities, but Boydie's a fair bit bigger. Which is scary.
He is, yeah, that is scary. He almost towers over Patton, which you just find hard to believe when you line them up alongside of each other. So it's the Giants by 9 points, closing in on quarter time. Grigg, who's had a impressive opening quarter here, racking up the stats. Inside 50, McKernan diving on the ball. So too Pack, it'll be an Adelaide free kick. Heath Shaw doesn't want to hand over the football.
He never wants to hand over the footy. He wants it in his hands, and that's what you love about him. You know, as a defender, he's one that we always look to give it to. His ball use is great. His decision making is really good as well, and obviously his decision then to maybe sit on it wasn't great, but it's one of those rules that the players are going to have to get used to, because it is one that has been brought in and has been policed heavily over the NAB challenge, which is good, so the players get used to that. But it's definitely a hard one when you're out there and you think, I've got to go and get the footy, but if I fall over and then I have 5 guys sit on me, it seems like I'm sort of not making an attempt. So you've just got to, try and obey the rules the best of your ability at the time.
So a shank from McKernan on the set shot, and siren sounds for quarter time. And the Greater Western Sydney Giants take a 9-point lead into the first change here against the Adelaide Crows. 5-2-32 to the Crows, 3-5-23. The goal kickers for the Giants, all single goal kickers, to Whitfield, Addison, Ward, Kelly and Patton. And for the Crows, Dangerfield, Martin and Douglas. So quarter time at the Blacktown International Sportspark. It's Kelly Underwood alongside Josh Hunt this afternoon, and this practice game brought to you live on gwsgiants.com.au and afc.com.au. It is the Giants by 9 points. And welcome back to Blacktown International Sportspark. It's the Giants and the Crows in their last practice match for 2014 ahead of the season proper, and it's the Giants leading by 9 points at quarter time. We're back underway. Kelly Underwood, and we've had a change in commentary. Josh Hunt was good enough to join us in the first quarter. Adam Treloar in the second. Adam, great to have you along. The reason why you're not out there joining your teammates this afternoon.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Well, a couple of seasons ago, I hurt my plantar fascias, so I was good last year, but I think in the pre-season this season, I sort of re-injured him, and I just wanted to stay on top of it. So we sort of managed it, and I played the first couple of games of the pre-season. I think this is only a week away from round one, so we thought maybe inject him and it'll heal over a week, and I'm feeling fine. I wish I could have played today, but it's great watching the boys out here.
Certainly is, and they've played well in this opening quarter against the Crows. Trying to keep it in play. Defensive 50, Ward. Dinky little kick, but it comes off. This is Kelly. And on a long lead, Jonathan Patton.
He's playing well, Pato.
He has. He took a great contested mark against Rutten late in that quarter and kicked a goal. So centering kick brings it back to Palmer. Peeling offshore. And they've got loose men everywhere. The switch is on here. Davis around the outer side. Frost. Of course, his brother Jack plays on Collingwood's list. Both rookies, both have been elevated. Hampton back inboard to Whitfield. One of 4 number 1 draft picks out there for the Giants this afternoon. And here's Cameron. Didn't see too much of the footy in that opening quarter. Floating around down back. All-Australian player lobs it high, and he just asks his teammates to jump at that. Tomlinson does, can't control it and sees it over the boundary line, so we'll have a throw in. Must be a bit of excitement in the camp that I guess Boyd's playing alongside Patton there this afternoon, Adam.
Yeah, definitely. I saw him down there early while sitting right by the bench, and he seemed a little bit nervous just to get out there. But no, he looks good. Sort of can't wait to have him, Pato and Jeremy sort of firing in the forward line. I mean, it's going to be hard for opposition defenders to stop them three at once.
Be hard as a teammate to get out of their way, I reckon.
I know. He's such a similar build to Pato, and I think Pato's short of showing how good he can be today, and I think Boyd can be very similar to that.
Here's Dangerfield looking to clear it. Hampton trying to catch him. Dangerfield dodging one way, and then the long bomb to a one-on-one. That's a nice contested mark by McKernan. He plays on quickly. Inside 50, Adelaide takes the mark. And he'll go back from directly in front. He did think about giving off the handball, but he'll go back and have a set shot and should be able to put this through. The former premiership player from Geelong. Turns 33 later this year. He's got the 1-year deal, and if he does well, he could find himself playing for a couple of years on this Adelaide Crows list. Played the 23 games last year for the Cats. 169 goals to his name for his first of the afternoon. And he doesn't make a mistake. So Adelaide puts the first one through in this second term for the Crows. And they draw within 3 points. Adam, we're going to see Tom Boyd in the ruck here. So he's obviously got that ability as a ruckman and not just as a forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can just sort of see how big he is. He's about 198 centimetres, I think. And I think Joff was playing down full back. I think we're sort of experimenting because you sort of want to have a lot of tricks to the trade. And he can play forward. He's shown that he can play in the ruck. And I think we sort of give him experience down back, especially on a great player like James Adelaide. But like you can see, Boyd, we sort of need him to play back, forward, ruck for us. And I think with Mummy missing as well, it's a sort of a good experience for him as well. And also Andrew Phillips as well, who had a hamstring injury last season. He didn't play all year, and it's great to see him out there. I mean, he was a late call-up, but I think he's given his own against a great ruckman in Sam Jacobs.
So Nick Haynes for the Giants to Ward. co-captain once again this year, along with Phil Davis, playing against his old side this afternoon. To the outer side, Cornelio in a one-on-one with Thompson. And Cornelio looking to get it over to Tomlinson, who can't keep it in play. Rory Sloane for the Crows. He is the acting captain. He was named co-vice captain for the Crows this year alongside Patrick Dangerfield, and of course Nathan Van Berlo out injured at the moment. Also missing Taylor Walker from their best side, and probably throw in Brad Crouch there as well. Working it well on the outer side. In front, Podsy Adelaide. Still too far out to score. Just drives it long and high. McKernan's there. So too Dangerfield. It was Martin, in fact, that jumped in the pack. Davis, little lucky kick, lands on the chest of Kelly. A lot of good things being said about Josh Kelly so far, Adam, but from your point of view, what stands out?
Yeah, I think he's just an ultimate professional. I mean, it's very rare you find that in someone so young. He's only 18 years old, and you sort of get nervous coming into the system and being around senior players, and he's sort of just come in and he's very confident from the start. I mean, he's the most humble bloke you'll ever meet, but he's just such a professional. I mean, I think he just wants to achieve great success with this team and with himself.
Tomlinson to Patton to Addison. Can he pick it up in time? Closing late was Yench. Everywhere. He goes short here, finds Kelly. On the left, into the pocket. Nice lead from Patton, and he takes the mark. Distance shouldn't be a problem here, but accuracy might. Will he back himself in, do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I'll back him. I'll Jeremy Cameron, Joffa Giles there. If you want to have someone kick after the sign, you definitely want one of those two. Don't be surprised if this goes in.
So Patton just opens up the angle ever so slightly, but he pushed it across the face. And it's through for a behind. The Giants lead it by 4 points. It's been an entertaining, flowing, high-scoring, almost practice match here. Blacktown International Sportspark. And Crows with possession. McKernan just working his way into this match. Looks to run round the mark. In front was Betts. This might be his first possession for the match. Just a little kick off the ground, a toe poke, but the Giants through Hampton. They've got the numbers. They share it around. Frost. It's an awkward half volley, but well controlled by Yench. Gets his kick away under enormous pressure. Two Giants players collide in the air, and Hampton's gone down just grabbing his knee. Let's hope he's okay behind play. Curtly Hampton, a little slow to get up. Bit of a scrap in the centre of the ground. Frost. Cameron. In front was Green. Was that a push out? The umpire says no. It was all good. Sends it long, and Podsy Adley from behind, not quite paid. Under pressure here are the Giants defenders. Shield. It's a loose ball, top of the goal square. Playing for the free was Lynch. Umpire said, I'm not falling for that. And he's been done for holding the ball. So well played by Haynes. Addison. Caught in a Crow sandwich then. And that comes back involved with Shaw doing the team thing. Just thumps it clear. And they team up well. Bug. Little fumble. Regathers. Back to Haynes. Back to Davis. Sharing it around.
He's getting a bit of a Kelly score.
He has, hasn't he? He has been impressive. Saw Lockie Whitfield dominated in NAB 1, didn't he?
Yeah, he's very
23 odd possessions.
They're very similar then too. I mean, they're probably in the top 3 fittest blokes at the club, and they're good hands for their size. Kelly's only a small player, but he's got really good hands for how tall he is.
Kennedy getting into a little bit of trouble. Gets out of it. Oh, nice sidestep there from Patton. Just does it too easily around Podsy Adley. looking to drive it forward. Nice mark. Addison, the experienced body, wins out over Brown. Picked up a couple of experienced players, Adam, and Dylan Addison has been, well, he's done his job so far, hasn't he?
Yeah.
We're still only early stages, obviously, but
and he's just such a professional as well. He sort of brings in that experience from a team that's been pretty successful in the Western Bulldogs. In the forward 50 is going to be vital for us, and I can't see him playing too many games in the twos.
His former Bulldog teammate in Callum Ward sends it high. Phillips floating in from the side. Handball fired out there from Kelly. Comes back to Palmer, who just blazes away on the outside of the boot. Puts it out of bounds on the full. So Giants' first game. After the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're not thinking too far ahead. We just want to focus on round 1. I think this whole pre-season has been a build-up to that game. And it's probably the biggest game of the season for us. And our last rivals, Battle of the Bridge at Spotless Stadium. And we had a great match against them in the first NAB game. We sort of took a lot of positives out of that game, and so did they. And hopefully we could sort of play the same way and just focus on the negatives from that game that we can proper in the round 1 game. Yeah, hopefully we can beat them. We think we're a really good chance, and yeah, we can't wait to get out there.
And you get to play it at Spotless Stadium, which is something different, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't been on there all pre-season. I think they've been looking after the surface for us, so I can't wait to train on there on Monday. We get to train on there on Monday and play on there next Saturday, so I can't wait for it.
And if you'd like to get along to Battle of the Bridge, ticketmaster.com.au to snap up your tickets for that next Saturday twilight game. Giants lead it by 4 points here, halfway through this second term. And Lynch is just clutching at his shoulder. He's gone down here behind play. Tom Lynch. We saw Hampton leave the field with a knee injury early in this quarter, and now Tom Lynch, who appears to have injured his left shoulder, Adam. Let's have a look at the replay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's had a past history of shoulders.
Yeah, and it just
Tom
pops
Lynch
out with Davis falling on top of him there. He's had no luck with injuries, obviously started at St Kilda.
That sucks to see.
Yeah, and his breakout year last year. He kicked the 10 goals against you. Yeah,
he was definitely a player we'll watching coming into this game. We wanted to stop him.
Well, the one thing that coaches fear at this time of year with these matches is injuries, and what we're watching now is Adelaide's leading goal kicker from last year leave the field with a left shoulder injury. So not great news if you're a Crows fan. Tom Lynch, 33 goals and 20 behinds from his 23 games for the Crows last year. My memory serves me correctly, you probably don't want to talk about this, Adam, but kicked the 10 against you. 6 were in a quarter at Spotless Stadium, was it right? Yeah,
that's a dark day. I do not want to remember that day. But yeah, he kicked 10 on us and kicked 6 in the third quarter, I think. Yeah, I think that's a shoulder. That looks really short.
Well, he's had a knee reco when he was a teenager and plenty of injuries. Played backup, obviously, to Revolt and Kazitsky at Saints, and was really starting to find his feet at the Adelaide Crows. Let's hope it's not too serious for Tom Lynch. Rutten taking on the pace of Whitfield. Out in front of Podsiadly, well controlled. Back to Otten. So just the 1 goal in this quarter after 14 minutes. That went to Podsiadly for the Crows.
I think Aiden's getting his first run. He was a sub. He's finally on.
Aiden Core, number 35 for the Giants. And McKernan, that's a bouncing ball, and That has gone through for a goal for the Crows. So it was Sloan with the goal assist to McKernan. Favourable bounce. Kennedy unable to get a finger to it as it crossed the line. So McKernan's got his first for the afternoon. And the Crows hit the front for the first time since the early stages of this match. They lead it by 2 points. Phillips, a late replacement for Mumford, who's been rested this afternoon despite being named in the squad. Here go the Crows again. Giles, the ruckman turned defender in the last couple of weeks. Adam, Jonathan Giles, the reason why we find him down back?
I think because we've got a lot of ruckmen coming through in Andrew Phillips, Tom Downey and Rory Lobb. We recently drafted him in the recent draft, and I think we sort of just want to show his versatility. He's a super athlete, as you can tell. He's super quick, one of the quickest blokes at the club, and I think you just need another trick to your trade. I mean, you don't really want to be known as one player that only plays one position, so I think they're giving him a good experience down in the back line, and he's playing on a great player in James Podsiadly, so he's been good for us.
This is Brodie Martin. Kicked a goal in the first quarter from the boundary line. It'll take something special, and he has slotted that right through the sticks. Well done, Brodie Martin. Great to see him back playing footy. He's had a tough run of injuries in recent times and looks like he's enjoying playing alongside Eddie Betts there. Martin's got his second. The Crows have got 3 to the Giants, none in this second quarter. They've skipped out now to an 8-point lead. So we have a look at a replay of that kick. Struck that sweetly. Noticed a lot, it's been a quite fast pace, this one, even though it is a practice match, Adam, but a lot more handballs. Do you think that we will see a different style of footy? I mean, every year, we come out and it looks like one team sets the trend. Yeah,
I think just, as you can tell, like, as the years go on, I think it's the more you have the ball, the more likely you're going to score. And I think with handballing, you're more than likely handball into a teammate, and you're keeping the possession. So if you've got the ball more, you've got better possession and better chance to score. And I think it sort of opens up the game as well. If you can draw a defender and handball to someone running straight into space, it opens up the game. You become unpredictable, and teams can't stop you when you do that. So I think definitely, I totally agree with you. I think the handball's coming more often in this game, and I think you'll probably see heaps more this season. Sometimes you can over-handball and turn it over and they kick a goal, so you've got to be smart when you want to handball the ball.
That's what might happen right now.
Yeah.
Ward thought about giving it off and has been pinged for holding the ball here. So it was a good tackle from Jared Lyons for the Crows. Slots it through the middle for the Adelaide Crows. So they're in a real purple patch here. After being beaten in that first quarter, they've piled on 4 goals to none. Jared Lyons played 9 games last year for the Crows, a total of 12. He was courted by the Demons during the summer. Of course, his father Marty played for the D's, and they tried to lure him, but he knocked it back and opted to stay with the Adelaide Crows and gets a goal in this second quarter.
Very impressive how you know that.
One thing I do know, Adam, is that it's your birthday on Sunday. Am I right in saying that? 21.
Dylan Shield and myself share the same birthday, so...
Josh Hunt told me that earlier. He was a little concerned because he hadn't received an invite in the mail, so...
No, it's funny because Dylan Shield and I, we're obviously from the same area in Melbourne. We both played for the Dandenong Stingrays. We both backed for Carlton. Both of our favourite players was Anthony Koutafidis and Chris Judd, and we're both born on the same day, and we're both selected as 17-year-olds to come to the Giants, so it's pretty crazy.
Please tell me you're mates and you get on.
Yeah, definitely mates.
Crows continue on their winning ways here in this second quarter. That's goal number 3 to Brodie Martin. And they are right on top, in control of this match now. Giants yet to score in this second quarter. So Betts trying to control the possession, just flicks it on. That is very clever to Martin, who slots it through. So how's this game changed, Adam, do you think? Yeah, the Giants led it by 9 at quarter time, and since then it's been all Adelaide with 5 in a row.
I think just their mids have been super this quarter. I mean, their inside work has been great. They're just getting the ball forward, and I think we're sort of stuffing around with it too much. We're sort of trying to over-handball. I think we just need to get the ball forward. And a big focus for us this week was contested footy, and I think we just need to win the contested ball a bit more. Dangerfield shows a great example there of how you win it.
Crows lead it by 20, and they're going into attack again. Otten, handball, and then he was dealt with quite crudely up. Will go to Jared Lyons. Ricochets off a couple of bodies. Brodie Smith, tackle from Frost. Giants looking to step up the intensity here. Pleasure. Lyons. Smith. Centering ball, top of the goal square. Davis just fists it out of the danger zone. Punches it clear. Jenkins, and high up and under. McKernan was in the middle of the pack. Martin tries to get through quite a few. Kelly. Hampton. Kicks clear. Whitfield, he's in a one-on-one with Smith. Back to Scully, right and underneath it. It's out of bounds on the full.
Big boy up.
Short to Yench. Back to Jenkins. Crows with loose players here. Yench again getting involved. Just goes short to Smith. Still a couple of kicks away from goal. Yench wants it again, and he's going to get it. This is 3 possessions in the matter of a few seconds here.
Been working on sort of blocking them leading lanes, and I think our mids were a bit lazy. They're getting back, so that's something we've been working on in the pre-season. I think that's sort of what's undoing us at the moment.
Got Hampton that's going to bring it back into play. You clearly need a goal as we close in on half-time.
I think because it's late in the quarter, we sort of want to control the footy. We don't want to keep moving too fast, because if we turn it over, it's a great opportunity for them to score, and they've already kicked 4 goals, so we don't want to get an even more bigger run on. So we just really got to control the footy. If we kick the ball, take a mark, just hold it up.
Cameron needs to find a target, and he does. That was a pinpoint pass, all class. Whitfield with the mark. He looks to go quickly. The lead comes from Patton. Floating in front is Palmer. That is courageous.
He's had a great pre-season race, Palmer. I think he's going to have a great year this year.
Well, he's had plenty of injuries since he crossed over from Perth, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think he's sort of going to have a new role this year. He's sort of going to be our designated tagger. He's a super block. He's a great athlete. He's super fit. He's not overly quick, but he's not too slow, and he's got great hands for his height as well, and he can go forward and kick goal.
So Reece Palmer to stop what has been a run of 5 consecutive goals for the Adelaide Crows. From directly in front, and he has missed to the left-hand side. So a disappointing result after an impressive build-up. Crows a little awkward here on the kick-in, looking to pounce. Patton over the top to Kelly. He's already kicked a goal, but he blazes away. And another miss.
This Johnny's been impressive.
Nearing half-time here at Blacktown. Quite a turnaround in this match. Dangerfield, oh, what a pick-up. And and then skips away. Handballs to himself. That was interesting, but effective. Back to McKay. High, bets, flies. Umpire blows his whistle and it'll be a Giants free kick. There is a Crows player down behind play on the broadcast wing, and I think that might be Andy Otten, who's in the hands of a couple of trainers here. He flew for the ball on the wing, landed awkwardly. So the injury toll mounting for what is a practice match here at Blacktown. We've already seen Tom Lynch go off nursing an injured left shoulder. And now Andy Otten. Well, that's a good sign. He gets up to his feet and walks unassisted to the bench. 26-minute mark of this second term. Siren to sound shortly for half-time. And the Giants just 3 points in this second quarter. This is McKay lining up for a 6th goal for the Crows in this term. And he's hit the post. So a much needed let off for the Giants.
This might be the goal scoring end for the game.
It's a good point you make. We've had 10 goals to 3 to this end, the right of screen. The southern end or the eastern road end here at Blacktown. In a wrestle for the ball, Talia. Tomlinson sliding in. Whitfield. Sloan scoops it up. It's almost a hospital hand pass to Grigg though. And a play on advantage call by the umpire. McKay. He's got space and he's got time. A couple of bounces on the outer side. Handballs it over the top and the driving kick. And punished for a push in the back there, John Giles. I won't ask you, Adam, what you thought of that decision.
Yeah, it's a tough rule, that one. It's a very tough rule, but I suppose it's a rule you got to abide by.
Welcome to life as a defender for John Giles.
Exactly. He sort of needs to get used to that.
It's just a light hand on the back of McKernan as well, which could prove costly.
That's exactly what I mean, and they were very clean coming forward there, and when we had our chance to go forward then we sort of turned it over, so it's sort of what hurt us this quarter.
So Sean McKernan, 7 goals from his 9 games last year, but he misses that one. Could have been his second for the match.
This is where we need to control the footy, just slow it down a bit.
Crows led it by 21 points. Hampton. Looks like he's had a good pre-season, Adam.
I think the most impressive for me this pre-season so far has been Kelly. I mean, like, he does amazing things on the track. He's probably the fastest bloke on the team. He's super fit. He's similar traits to Andrew McLeod, and he's such a legend of the game. I know that's who Curly idolises, and they play in the same position, so hopefully
gets around one, kicks it into another, and the Crows, there's still time. Grigg through the centre of the ground. Using the corridor, Porplesia. Short in front. This is Martin, who's had an outstanding second quarter. To the goal square, Podsy Adley in front. Shaw reads it best. A little one-hander. That's experience for you.
yeah, he's been great for us this pre-season.
What's he added to the side?
Just his...
Apart
his
from a lot of chatter, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's probably the most talkative bloke in the team. He's very cheeky, he's sure. But his leadership has been outstanding. I mean, he's just direction out on the field, and you can just tell he knows the game in and out, and he's just been great for us, and I think he'll help us win games just himself, because he's a very good player as well, obviously, and he has that premiership success, so he's going to hopefully bring that to the team this season. I think he likes the lifestyle here as well.
Well, his
quiet.
brother's up here, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He
Just got married, Reece.
Yeah.
Sure.
He was living with his brother for the first couple of months.
Great quarter of football for the Adelaide Crows. They've got the game on their terms and they lead it by 21 points at half-time after scoring 5 goals to none in that second term. The goal kickers for the Adelaide Crows, Brodie Martin has 3 singles for Dangerfield, Douglas, Podsiadly, McKernan and Jared Lyons, while for the Giants, all single goal kickers, Whitfield, Addison, Ward, Kelly and Patton, but they were kept goalless in that second term. They'll regroup at this head out for this second half. It is the last practice match for 2014 coming to from Blacktown International Sportspark, brought to you live on gwsgiants.com.au and afc.com.au. Thanks to Adam Treloar for joining us in that second quarter. If I don't catch you again, happy birthday for Sunday.
Beautiful. Thanks for having me, guys.
Enjoyed the insights. It's the Crows leading it by 21 points at half-time. Welcome back to Blacktown International Sportspark for this practice match between the Giants and the Crows. It's Kelly Underwood bringing you this game live on gwsgiants.com.au. Crows Football Club. I can tell you they came with a team of 24. Kerridge was a late scratching, so he hasn't played. And then the youngster Matt Crouch withdrew just before the game with illness. So they started with 23. They are down to 19 on the bench. Confirmation from the Crows. Tom Lynch, who was their leading goal kicker last year, has dislocated his left shoulder. Sam Shaw has come off with some hamstring tightness. Richard Douglas copped a heavy knock, so he won't play any further part in this. And Andy Otten left the field with a knee injury. It looks like that he might have hyperextended that knee. So it's been carnage for the Crows. They're down to 19 on the bench, and as a result, the teams have come together at half-time and agreed to play reduced quarters, 20-minute quarters, for these final two quarters of this practice match. Having said that, it is the Crows leading at half-time by 21 points, so they have played well out there on the field, although the Giants led it by 9 at quarter time. So started this second half, and we've had a bit of a revolving door in commentary. Josh Hunt and Adam Treloar, and well, joining us for this third quarter, former Hawthorn Premiership player Stephen Gillam. Stephen, thanks for coming along.
No worries, Kelly. Good to be here.
And not too, although there is an injury concern, I had to say, for your team as well, because Jeremy Cameron left limping with an ankle injury in that second quarter. So when we get some news, we'll bring you that as well. But probably a good thing you're not out there, because it's carnage.
I know. See if we've got a fourth quarter by the end of this one. But yeah, the game unscathed for both sides.
Might have to bring in the mercy rule or swap jumpers or something.
I think Adelaide are just trying to even it up for us after that second quarter.
Well, it was dominant, wasn't it? It was quite a turnaround. Giants by 9 at quarter time, and then it was the 5 goals to none in that second term. I'm not sure if you saw much of it, and if so, what do you think went wrong?
Yeah, I think we obviously came out and played really well the first half of that first quarter, and Adelaide were probably a little bit on the back foot, but they played really well in that second quarter. They're obviously a really good side and building up to round one, and started to get their systems in place and get their hands on the ball, and going forward they looked really dangerous, and our boys just couldn't hold them a couple of times in that quarter. So hopefully they would have rebuilt at half-time and spoke about a few things we could have done a bit better, and hopefully I would have put that in place in the second half.
So Giants bring it back into play through Scully. Smith, who spent a lot of time on the bench in that first half, so we'll see a lot of changes here. I think the Giants started with 8 on the bench in this practice match compared to the 5 for the Crows. Here's Boyd in his first hit out. Tackle applied by Smith. Comes back to Boyd. Palmer looking to get around Scott Thompson. He's tackled as he kicks it, affects the kick. Scully rises high. Will it sit for Giles? Martin tries to tackle him. Kelly's been impressive. Shields one way then the other. Short kick. Put Bug under a bit of pressure. Goes back to Giles. He's got to be quick. He nearly is dispossessed. Kelly. And the high ball. Crows players everywhere. And they're able to clear through right. This is Talia sharing it with McKay. We know he's got pace. Couple of bounces. Taking on the big man in Boyd, who's persistent. And inside 50, dropping the mark. Really what it should have taken in the end, McKernan to Betts. Goes backwards. Trying to set something up. Talia now. Long. Can he find a free man inside 50 at the top of the goal square? Not quite. And the Giants now through Shaw. They've got the numbers. Hampton. It's a 50-50 ball, and Podsiadly closing late with the defensive spoil over the boundary line. So what would Leon Cameron have asked for the players at half-time, do you think, Stephen?
I think just to match the Crows' pressure around the ball. I think it's been one of the big focuses of our pre-season, and I think we were really good in that first quarter with our energy and hard work in the first quarter with our defensive part of our game, so that's what he'd be asking.
Smith and Tomlinson, and combined there with Palmer and Patton, and inside 50, Kelly, one out, with Smith, a couple of young guns going toe-to-toe. Ball back in play. Chance here for the Giants. Devon Smith, who loves a goal, pushed as he kicks it, affects the kick through for a behind. Matthew Yench on the kick-in duties for the Crows. To himself, and then goes round the outer side here at Blacktown. McKay, who's finding a bit of space. Palmer in hot pursuit. To half forward, in front, McKernan slips through his fingers again. Head over the footy, Thompson. Back to McKernan. Oh, he's in all sorts of trouble. Dispossessed, brought down by Palmer. That's holding the footy. Hampton wants to play on, but it'll come back to Green, in fact it is. So Toby Green, seen a little bit of him today. Stephen, what are you expecting? His third year of footy here at the Giants.
Yeah, he's one of our third-year players that's played a lot of footy in our first couple, so really looking to Toby and those guys who have played 3 years, you know, Dylan Shield and Adam Trelaw, who's been up here as well, to really kick on and have a big year and contribute well for us in most games this year.
And yourself, when can we see you back in this side?
Yeah, so that'll be the second one under my belt, and hopefully not too far, Kelly, for myself. So yeah, a couple of weeks hopefully.
And you played, what was it, about 14 games last year?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, 13 or 14. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Obviously a big change for me last year, but really enjoyed it, and hopefully looking forward to a good year this year.
And I guess when you look at that defence, if you can get all the veteran players together, not that I'm calling yourself a veteran, but, you know, Gillum...
I'm definitely a veteran now, Kelly,
compared to these guys,
side.
that's it, yeah. But, you know, alongside Heath Shaw, Josh Hunt and yourself, that really straightens things up a bit and gives you a lot of experience down back.
Yeah, it's obviously one of the most important things was our defence and tightening that up, I guess. So there's been a couple of additions. So looking forward to reducing the number of scores against us this year in defence.
Great kick. There's a goal. And that breaks the drought for the Giants. Their first goal since the final stages of that opening quarter.
A lot of players with hands on these. Game's definitely opening up, and some tired boys, I think.
Well, tough conditions out there as well. It doesn't look it, but it is really steamy. I said earlier, it feels like we're in the top end. The thunderstorms have been forecast.
Yeah, definitely.
So far, we haven't seen them.
Yeah, I think they're about to roll in. We got a great thunderstorm a couple of days ago. I think we're due for another one.
Bit different to Melbourne weather.
It's a lot different up here. It's shorts and t-shirt most of the year. We don't really get a winter here, which is nice.
So the Giants close the gap. They trail by 15 points. And Giles back in the centre after we saw Phillips doing a lot of the ruck work in that opening half. Little toe poke. Pouncing on it. Brown to McKay's, finding a bit of the footy in his third term, and Thompson, the veteran. Adelaide leading and marking on his chest. He goes looking for and finding Martin, who's been the standout up in the forward 50 for the Crows this afternoon, but he gives away the free, and the Giants now last line of defence through Bug, Cornelio. out wide. Good kick. Mark taken by the co-captain in Davis. Oh, he's kicked it straight into the man on the mark. Jared Lyons says thanks very much. And now the Crows have got free players everywhere here on the transition. Yench, centre half forward. And he hits up Dangerfield, who tried to take his man off. Back to Paul Pleasure. Over to Podsy Adderley from a standing start. And misses to the near side. Podsy Adderley with just the one goal this afternoon. Whitfield at half-back. Kelly Underwood alongside Stephen Gillum for this third term at the practice match. And Stephen, you've got 4 number 1 draft picks running around out there this afternoon. It's a bit of a luxury to have.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all very talented boys, and it's good for Tom to play his first game for the club today. And number 2 pick Josh Kelly playing his second game as well, who both look really impressive and have had great pre-seasons. So they're definitely going to add to this group, and the pressure for spots up for grabs next week against Sydney's really on, and it's really exciting for those guys.
And a lot of the players out there at the moment playing for a spot in that team. You're missing a few of your best in Mumford, and obviously Josh Hunt and Adam Trelaw, who we've heard from, to come back into this side for round 1.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a number of guys over the pre-season tested, and again today with 8 on the bench. So, yeah, look, we've got a lot better depth than we probably had the last couple of years, and that pressure's going to hopefully mean that we've got better performances and better development over the course. Guy back.
He's moving well, isn't he?
Third game back, and he looks a lot more comfortable. He played out in our internal trial out here about a month ago, and he kicked the first goal of the game, and ever since then he's just continued to take great steps forward.
3 touches in his comeback game against the Swans a couple of weeks ago. Kicked a goal in the first quarter, didn't give that one a chance though, and he puts it out of bounds on the full. And I guess the Crows, on the other hand, have almost got a full-strength side in there, missing Van Berlo, their captain, and of course Taylor Walker, who we hear might be come back around round 2 or 3 in this side. As Boyd flies in from the side, couldn't quite bring it down. And now Crows are away with a little bit of speed, trying to break clear as Brodie Smith. Toe pokes, just squeezes the kick back to Paul Pleasure. A couple of the young guns in Lyons and Smith. But well done by the Giants, and now they're away through the excitement machine. The number 2 draft picking Kelly. Does he go all the way? He does. It's across the face, and the mark's been paid. Hoskin Elliott.
I reckon you're giving a few kilos to Josh Kelly. That was Jed Lamb from the Swans, number 11. For us, he's been great this quarter.
He certainly has. And Lamb gives it to Hoskin Elliott, who just opens up the angle and slots it through. 2 in a row for Hoskin Elliott.
He was one of the boys that was sitting on the bench for the first half, so come on and giving us fresh legs, and from a wing he can really run forward and hit the scoreboard, which is what we want. Just a really exciting passage of play. It all started with Tom Scully putting on great pressure, and I think that's what Leon will be most excited about. We'll probably see that clip on Monday reviewing the game, and I think the ball movement and the natural flair of our players will come out when we do have the ball. I think it's more so the pressure and doing the hard defensive things that Leon wants to focus on, definitely for this pre-season.
So what can you tell us about Jed Lamb? Commentators still have to learn what he looks like in that number 11. It's
yeah.
He looks different from the Swans Guernsey, obviously a former Sydney player.
Yeah, he's slotted in really well. I guess he and Shane Mumford coming across from the Swans have helped each other transition over. He lives in the east with a few of our boys now. So, yeah, look, the guys are getting along really well with him, and he's slotted in he play half forward, high half forward, and as we see the Crows get one back.
Yeah, play on advantage was given, and the ruckman Sam Jacobs puts it through with ease.
So, yeah, Jed hopefully can help us up forward doing chasing and tackling and that sort of thing, but he's got really good goal sense and will help the boys up forward.
So the Crows now skip out to a handy lead and send a break in the replay here. It was a high ball. Adelaide just too big and too strong. Good signs for Adelaide with Adelaide playing well this afternoon. Crows by 16 points. McKernan in the ruck. Ward, Scully on all fours. McKernan again. Big year for him coming up. Sean McKernan was linked over summer to have some move back home to Victoria, but signed a new contract and has kicked a goal here today. Here's Lamb. Back to Scully. Defensive spoil, the two number 12s, Talia and Patton. We might see that for a few more years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we play Adelaide around Easter time at the Adelaide Oval, which the boys are really excited about.
And of course, you start next Saturday night against the Battle of the Bridge against the Swans. Are you any chance for round one?
Oh, absolutely. As long as I get through tomorrow, right, and to host Sydney at Spotless Stadium for the first time, so everything's underway. Preparations are underway for that, and hopefully we can get close to filling it.
And it's a favourable draw the first couple of weeks, isn't it? The Swans at home, and then you go to Melbourne to play the Saints, who have struggled in the pre-season, and then the D's back up in Sydney.
Yeah, had a really good week against St Kilda last week, so that'll give the boys a lot of confidence. And yeah, back up at home, which is the first time we've been able to use our ground for the first part of the season, which is really good.
Sloan hasn't seen too much of the football this afternoon, and he combines with the class of Dangerfield, the two vice captains who will co-captain in the opening rounds. Flying through Adelaide, putting his body on the line. The last thing Crows fans want is another injury this afternoon. It's been costly. Betts does well, and the two experienced recruits combine, and it will see Adelaide line up for has dislocated his left shoulder. Sam Shaw, Richard Douglas with a heavy knock, so they'll be a sore and sorry bunch as they fly back to Adelaide this afternoon.
They will.
But this has been a shining light, the form of Adelaide in that forward 50, and he slots that with ease for goal number 2, and they maintain their lead here at Blacktown. 3 for Brodie Martin and 2 for James Adelaide, all single goal kickers for the Giants. In fact, no, Hoskin Elliott has a double, so he's got 2 for the Giants. Came on at halftime, as Stephen mentioned.
Almost done for this quarter, but it's been another quarter of 2 halves. We dominated early, and then Crows have hit back again in the second half of this quarter.
And how's life under Leon Cameron? He'd be preparing probably a few butterflies over the next 10 days or so, heading into his very first official game as new senior coach. How you find him, and I guess how does he differ from Sheeds? You could probably rattle on about the differences between the two.
Yeah, look, Leon's all about defence and really getting the boys going in that area. He keeps his meetings short and sharp, which I like, and a lot of the boys like, whereas Sheeds was probably into the meetings and going for a bit longer just because he had so much to get across and teach the younger boys initially and early on. So yeah, look, Leon's also got a couple of new guys around him. Chad's jumped on board as an assistant coach, and now Simon Kadich is a development coach as well. So yeah, he's building a team around him that are going to help on match day, but obviously yeah, he'll be feeling the butterflies like everyone. It's a really big game to kick off our season against Sydney next Saturday night at our stadium.
And you would have worked alongside Leon at Hawthorn?
Yeah, we had a year, I think, or 2 before he got the job up here, and yeah, when he got the job, gave me a call and said, do you want to come up and help me up here? So jumped at the opportunity.
Adelaide dominating. Dangerfield flies from behind and pulls down a screamer. And that will get the Adelaide Crows fans excited.
I think that's one of the... Oh, he plays on to Eddie Betts, run into an open goal.
Betts does the job for his teammates.
I think that's one of the really good things about capping the rotations, is that the good players are going to spend more time on the ground, and especially midfielders going forward is probably one of the advantages that spectators will see, and I think the AFL obviously wanted that to happen, so it's a great grab.
Dylan Addison with a knee to the head.
He'll feel that tomorrow morning.
He will feel that tomorrow morning. And we're hearing from a lot of clubs. Oh, there we go. So the siren sounds for three-quarter time here at Blacktown. And the Crows extend their lead, 11-10-76 to the Giants, 7-7-49. Patrick Dangerfield provided the highlight in that third quarter. What a mark it was inside 50, handing off for Becks for his first goal of the afternoon. 3 for Brodie Martin, 2 for James Podsiadly. Dangerfield has 1, so too Douglas, McKernan, Lyons and Jacobs. While for the Giants, 2 for Hoskin Elliott, singles to Patton, Kelly, Ward, Addison and Whitfield. So 3 goals to 2 in favour of Adelaide in that third term. And they take a pretty handy lead into the last break. Stephen, thanks for popping up and saying hi, and all the very best for the season. We'd love to see you back out doing your thing in the back line for the Giants.
Thanks, me too.
Stephen Gillum, the defender from the GWS Giants. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the last 20 minutes here from Blacktown, where we've seen plenty of carnage. The Crows with their fingers crossed, just hoping to get through this last term unscathed. So the last quarter about to get underway here at Blacktown International Sportspark. The Crows lead it by 27 points, but they're down to one man on the bench. Scott Thompson is that player. We're playing 20 minutes because there's been some serious injuries to some Crows players. So both these sides have agreed to play the final 20. Going short. Umpire saying no, it'll need to come back. Devon Smith for the Giants. Came on at half-time, just pokes it into the pocket, looking for Patton. Hoskin Elliott sees it over the boundary line, and Patton, 15 disposals up until three-quarter time. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. Kelly, the pick number 2 from last year, leading the disposal getters for the Giants with 18. Palmer's had 15 and Canelio with 14. While for the Crows, McKay 17. It was Dangerfield and Yench with 20 each. Green, Palmer finding a target, and this is Boyd who marks inside 50. The top draft pick from last year and his first official hit out for the Giants. And his first set shot. The 18-year-old, his mum Anita is up from Melbourne, from her Ringwood North home. Just happened to be in town to check on how Tom was travelling. She'll be out here watching this. Tom Boyd lines up for his very first goal and he skips with delight. High fives all round in his first official hit out with the Giants, and he scores his first goal. May there be many more to come. So the Giants cut the margin to 21 points. They got off to a fast start, led it by 9 at quarter time, and since then Adelaide has piled on 8 goals to 2. Crows out of the centre. That was effective by Porplesia, but only as far as Scully, who looks to send the Giants into attack, and he does so quickly. In front was McKay. Good work here from the Giants. Quick hands, Canelio off to Shield for 2 in a minute. Yes! Running goal, tough angle. Brilliant start to this last quarter. So plenty of Giants players out there fighting for a spot in round 1. It kicks off next Saturday night for the Giants. They will host the Swans at their home ground for the very first time. Battle of the Bridge at Spotless Stadium from 4:40 next Saturday, March 15. If you're after some tickets, just jump online, ticketmaster.com.au. And of course, if you're interested in snaring yourself a Giants membership, gwsgiants.com.au for all the details. It's been a pretty impressive pre-season for the Giants under new coach Leon Cameron. They had the big win against the Saints last week, and it's been a good hit out here at Blacktown this afternoon against a near full-strength Crows squad, although they have suffered some injuries along the way. This is better from Adelaide. Couple of bounces on the broadcast wing from Lyons. Out in front, mark taken by McKernan. Spins, moves it quickly, looking for Betts in front, strong hands. So Eddie Betts, 5 goals on debut in NAB 1, rested in NAB 2, pokes it into the pocket for Dangerfield, who beats a couple including Heath Shaw. Had the 20 disposals, leading the Crows up until three-quarter time. Emerged as a real goal kicker for the Crows last year with 31. Finished second on the goal kicking table. Tom Lynch, of course, winning the goal kicking for the Crows in 2013. Tough angle. '61. So the signs have been good from Eddie. He hasn't had too much of the ball bets, but after his outstanding 5-goal debut against Port Adelaide in NAB 1, doing enough. He'll feature in the Adelaide Crows lineup. Crows kickstart their season in 13 days' time in Geelong against the Cats. Dangerfield again. Wins it, loses it, wins it, gives it back. Sold his teammate Luke Brown into all sorts of trouble. And standing up in a tackle there was Thompson. Ball up, broadcast wing. Giles tangles with Jacobs. Scully. Right. Straight through the hands of Dangerfield, and the Giants can pounce now through Smith. Sliding in and taking a good mark there for the Giants is Tomlinson. Plays on, looks to get around Jenkins. Hooks it. Poor pleasure. Spots a loose man in lines. He's one out though, and the defensive spoil from Ward. Goes again. Callum Ward, co-captain of this side. Great second and third effort. Gives it off to Davis. Pokes it up, and the mark on the outer side by Kelly. One of the positives for the Giants here at Blacktown today, the form of Josh Kelly, still 19 years of age. Green to Hampton, who's off, takes on Leo. Palmer, like the look of this build-up, short. Smith. Just skirting the perimeter. Awkward half volley, comes back to Ward. And then off to Cornelio, and then finally Scully takes the mark right on the paint of 50. Well, this would be a win for the Giants if they can win 2 of the quarters against the Crows. GWS won the first by 9. Adelaide convincingly won the second and the third, but Scully lines it up from directly in front outside 50 and misses to the left-hand side. 2-1. The Giants lead this last term. And Talia's kicked that out of bounds on the full. Whitfield quickly swoops. Preparing for his second year of footy. 19 games last year for 8 goals. And he looks like he's gone up a step in the pre-season as well. He will back himself in here from the most impossible angle, and he gets plenty of power behind that, gives it everything and puts it out of bounds on the full, right across the face. Adelaide by 20 points, nearly gone 10 minutes in this last quarter at Blacktown. Jacobs straight into the man on the mark. John Giles. The ruck. Andrew Phillips had a go in the ruck in the first half for the Giants after Mumford was a late withdrawal with some soreness. We'll see him in round 1 though against his former side. One of the great subplots to that match. And of course Buddy as well. Hoskin Elliott high up and under. Crows appear to be tiring in the stifling sauna-like conditions out there at the moment. The thunderstorms have been forecast, and it is starting to get a little gloomy, although the lights aren't on yet here at Blacktown. Giles. Thompson. Dispossessed, tried to bullock his way through. He was done for holding the ball. It's play on advantage, Shield. Players, Brodie Smith. 50-50 ball, slips through the hands, back to Ward, off to Shaw, who just thumps it as long as possible. Jenkins, off hands, playing it well in front with Shield, gives it back to Cornelio, who can line it up off a step, and he slots it through. Giants are finishing with a bit of a flurry here. So Stephen Cornelio's first goal for the afternoon. Nine individual goal kickers for the Giants. Just a reminder, we're playing just the 20 minutes this quarter. Adelaide officials have spoken to the Giants officials, and because of their big injury toll, the siren will sound at the 20-minute mark. Just the one man on the bench for the Crows. Dangerfield comes off, sucking in the oxygen, and Rory Sloane trots back out onto the field. 3-1 in the Giants' favour in this last term. Haynes back to Boyd. Loses the footy, and now Shield looks for Cornelio, who takes the mark. It's a promising build-up. 101 inside 50. And a great pick-up here from Scully. He's on his favoured left, but it's a bouncing ball, makes life tough. Back to Shield, who's lifted in this last term. Smith. And Podsy Adelaide playing in defence gobbles that one up. So we've seen James Podsy Adelaide in all sorts of positions this afternoon. Kicked 2 goals up forward, and he's playing down back in this last term. Betts can't quite control it. So just over a week until the Giants start their season proper, and it's 13 days until the Crows start their season proper. If you were planning on getting a membership over summer, just a reminder, afc.com.au for the Crows membership and gwsgiants.com.au for the Giants membership. Both sides promising better years than last year, as the Giants once again snare another goal, and this is the former Swans player Jed Lamb finding some form. Piling on the goals in this last quarter. 4-1 for the Giants. That cuts the margin back to 8. Adelaide led by as much as 27 points. And that was at the last change. He'll be a handy pickup for season 2014, Jed Lamb. First round pick for the Swans, and made the decision to switch clubs in the off season. So we've got a tick over 5 minutes left, and it's the Crows in front by 8 points. A pile up on the edge of the circle, and a free kick being plucked out of that to Scott Thompson. Podsy Adelaide. for pleasure. Just the 13 goals last year from his 16 games. McKernan and Adelaide, two of the real positives to come out of this game for Adelaide today. Finding some form at the right time, and I'm sure Coach Brenton Sanderson is looking for those couple of big forwards that will support Taylor Walker, the superstar, when he gets back in this side. They're expecting around round 3 or 4 of the season. Sloan goes backwards to McKernan, so they're sharing it around. Racking up the possessions as we count down to full time here at Blacktown. Shaw, Thompson. And the mark by Wright. As the dark clouds loom here at Blacktown, they're rolling in. We've had some pretty severe thunderstorms of late this week here in Sydney. Will we get this game over and done with before the downpour hits? Betts to Adelaide. They've already formed some sort of combination, working well together. Former Carlton and Geelong player, bring plenty of experience to this Crows side. And we'll have another throw in. Poor Pleasure a little slow to get up, clutching at his left shoulder. He's got a history of shoulder injuries, and it's the last thing the Crows need now. Josh Jenkins. And siren sounds early here at the 17-minute mark of the final term, and the Crows make it 3 from 3 for the pre-season. Off to the perfect start ahead of their season opener against Geelong. And in the end, they claim it by 8 points, 12-10-82 to the Giants, 11-8-74. The goal kickers for Adelaide in this final practice match. Brodie Martin was terrific. He kicked a goal in the first quarter and 2 in the second to finish with 3. Dangerfield with 2. Adelaide was impressive with 2. Singles to Douglas, McKernan, Lyons, Jacobs and otherwise it was all singles. Whitfield, Addison, Ward, Kelly, Patton, Shield, Cornelio, Lamb. And good to see Boyd as well slot through his very first goal in his first official game. Tom Boyd, number 13 for the Giants, of course, the number 1 draft pick from last year. But it's been a win that has been very costly for Adelaide. And they'll jump on the plane tonight and they'll head back home with injuries to Tom Lynch, a dislocated shoulder. Sam Shaw came off with hamstring tightness. Andy Otten with a knee scare. We don't know how serious that knee injury is at the moment. And Richard Douglas with a head knock. And the youngster Matt Crouch withdrew before the match with illness. So they were down to 1 on the bench, and hence the reason for the early finish here at Blacktown International Sportspark. I say thanks to our special comments this afternoon, all Giants players that were rested today, that you'll catch them back in action, of course, for round 1 of the season proper against the Swans. Adam Treloar, Stephen Gillum, and of course to Josh Hunt. So I hope you enjoyed our coverage here this afternoon from Blacktown International Sportspark. For now, that's it for the pre-season. Make sure you jump out and grab those memberships and get those tickets for round 1. The Adelaide Crows playing at Skilled Stadium against Geelong in 13 days' time. And of course, the Giants to host the Swans for the very first time at their home stadium, Spotless Stadium, next Saturday from 4:40 on March 15. Kelly Underwood signing off. Hope you enjoyed it. All the action live on gwsgiants.com.au and afc.com.au.